Ever thought about how wild dating is these days? I lucked out. I met my husband at 18, but if you're in the dating game right now, let me introduce you to The League. The League is a premium dating platform that puts quality before quantity. If you're busy, ambitious, and tired of swiping through an endless stream of filtered faces, then it is perfect for you. A few months ago, I interviewed Amanda Bradford, the founder and CEO of The League, and I had such a fun time talking to her about the app and how unique it is. First up, not just anyone can join. You've got to apply and get accepted, so you'll be part of a highly engaged and safe community of like-minded, goal-oriented people like you. And instead of swiping endlessly, The League sends you personalized daily recommendations of the most compatible matches. It's like having a personal dating assistant. Now, The League isn't for casual flings or social climbers. It's for genuine folks with big dreams, career goals, and a real drive to find a meaningful long-term relationship. If you're ready to ditch dating frustration, download The League and apply today. Message #GoalDigger to your in-app concierge to jump to the front of the line. If you want to have a slower pace, you want to start thinking about and planning for it now. And one of the things that was really helpful is in knowing that this was the ultimate vision for our summer, it allowed me to say no with confidence to so many opportunities and invitations. I'm Jenna Kutcher, your host of the Goal Digger podcast. I escaped the corporate world at the age of 23 with nothing more than a $300 camera from Craigslist and a dream. Now I'm running a 7-figure online business that feels even better than it looks, all from my house in small town Minnesota with my family. Here, we value time as our currency. We mix the woo and the work, and we are in the pursuit of building businesses that give us the freedom to live lives that we love. I've always loved turning big goals into reality, and I'm here to help you do the same. This isn't just a peek behind the curtain. Come along with me and my guests as we tear the whole curtain down. Every week, we tackle practical, no-fluff marketing strategies and host honest discussions on what works and what doesn't. Join me and my expert guests for actionable insights to help you grow your dream business with confidence. Pull up a seat and get ready to be challenged, inspired, and empowered. This is the Goal Digger Podcast. When was the last time that you intentionally slowed down? And I'm not just talking about a quick weekend getaway, though those are very important too. I'm talking about slowing down by choice, being super mindful about a slower pace, whether it's for a week or a month or even a season. Like, have you ever done that recently or ever? For most of us, we've had these built-in breaks once a year throughout our whole childhoods due to summer vacations. And if we were lucky, those precious couple of months were our opportunities to maybe sleep in later, to adopt a new rhythm, to give our brains a much needed break, to pursue these creative passions that we maybe didn't always have time for. Since entering into adulthood, the breaks become fewer and further between. And as entrepreneurs, does the work ever really stop? Now, here's the thing. Breaks are still just as important to our well-being as they were when we were kids. The only difference is that now we have to make time for these slowdowns rather than have it planned for us. And what we do during these breaks is also crucial, according to Brené Brown. In fact, Brené recommends that in order to boost your creativity and invite more joyfulness into your life, you have to make time for play, doing things just because they're fun and not because they'll help you achieve a goal or get across that next finish line. It's anything that makes us lose track of time and self-consciousness, creating the clearing where new ideas are born. And dare I say, these breaks actually help our businesses in the long run. This summer, I have been really fortunate to be able to intentionally decide to slow down and invite more play into my life, both for myself, for my family, for my business, and for my team. We've all heard the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. And that's exactly what this summer has been about, filling up my cup. And spoiler alert, it has been wonderful. So let's dive into the behind the scenes of what I've been up to these last few months while I pour into myself, my marriage, my girls, and the impacts it's had on my business. Let's do this. It's no secret that starting a business is hard. Even if you have an amazing idea, bringing it to life can be super overwhelming. HubSpot's new entrepreneurship kit is designed to help you go from idea generator to full-fledged business owner. And let me tell you, I wish I had this when I was first starting my business. This all-inclusive kit takes the guesswork out of entrepreneurship with step-by-step guides, practical resources, and easy-to-use templates. It literally walks you through every stage of starting a business and even has freelance pricing worksheets and loads more to help you get up and running immediately. Now, the best part is that it's free at hubspot.com/ENT. With expert guidance from HubSpot, starting a business doesn't have to be hard, so don't wait to start yours. Head to hubspot.com/ENT to download the free entrepreneurship kit, all from a company who knows a thing or two about growing bigger and better. That's hubspot.com/ENT. So really quick, before we dive into the meat of this episode, I just want to acknowledge the fact that it is a massive privilege to be in a place to be able to decide to slow down. And I recognize times in my own life where that wasn't an option. And I also want to acknowledge that for many of you, it probably isn't an option, but it's something that you deeply desire. And so my hopes in recording this episode and just kind of peeling back the curtain is to just let you know what is possible, what is out there, and for you to start brainstorming what choosing a different rhythm and pace could mean for your life, your family, and your business. That's it. So I wanted to start on the business side of things and then kind of scoot over to the personal side. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is that we have been doing a 4-day work week for over a year. And honestly, it has been so amazing. If you are a boss or you run your own company, I highly recommend experimenting with a 4-day work week. And if you are an employee of a company, I would start researching the benefits of a 4-day work week and potentially pitching it to your company because there are so many benefits with a 4-day work week. And we have just found so much joy in this rhythm, both for business and for personal life. We started the 4-day work week as a 90-day experiment. So basically I was like, I want to try this out, but I don't want to fully commit to it. I don't know how it's going to feel. And we have never gone back. Like I absolutely love Fridays off. And one of the things that I think is important to note is in going to the 4-day work week, we didn't extend our days. So we didn't just go down to, 10-hour work days. We actually kept the same rhythm and routine that we had. We just eliminated Fridays. And it has just been such a blessing. My team has been able to have more time with their families, to have more time for themselves, to have more time with their hobbies. We have this fun Slack channel called Granny Hobbies because so many people on my team have really fun hobbies. We are crocheting, we're making sourdough, we're gardening, all of these different things. And so I just feel like it's given us a much better work-life balance. And it's something that we all really, truly love. And what's interesting is that our profit didn't go down, our efficiency didn't go down. And I would maybe argue that it increased just because we don't have a lot of time to sit and think. We're just in action when we're working. And then we are fully unplugged when we're offline. So 4-day work week has been amazing. And that's how we were approaching this summer and this stage of business is having that 4-day work week be the foundation that we were working off of. Now, another thing to note is that when I look at the entire year at a glance, I am not doing my annual planning in January. So last year, we actually started planning out 2024 back in September. So we still had a full quarter of 2023 to finish before we entered into 2024. And I loved planning out the year when we still had kind of a runway left. And so in September, Marissa on my team, who's basically like the VP of operations, flew to my house and we were closing out a launch together. And then we spent an entire day going through our annual planning. And it was the first time we had ever done it. And I absolutely loved doing that with her. She's been in my business now for over 5 years. And so she kind of knows the rhythm that I want to operate from. And so it was really helpful for us to sit down. And what we kind of did is this epic analogy out there about the big rocks in the sand. I don't know, you've probably heard it before and I might butcher it, but essentially speaking, The theory is that if you don't start with your big priorities and you fill your life up with all the other things that are calling for your attention, you're likely not going to get around to those big rocks. And so if you picture a jar and you fill it with sand first, sand being, the meetings and the running around and all the other things and everyone else's requests, and you fill your jar with that, and then you try to fit the big rocks in, you're not going to be able to fit them in. And so when we were doing our annual planning, we started with the big rocks. Here are, our 4 main projects that we want to have for the year. This is when we're going to slate them. And one of the things that we did that was different this year is that we protected, and I mean fiercely protected, our summer. So June, July, and August were protected on our calendar, and we said no launches in the summer. Now, this is the first year in probably a decade that I didn't have any launches in the summer. And this was something super intentionally set up. And I want to share this piece of it because I think a lot of times people are like, I want to slow down. I want to have a slower summer. I want to do all these things. You might want to start thinking about that right now. Like you might want to start thinking about next year and what that's going to look like and what needs to happen in order to make that happen. And so what was amazing about sitting down in September is that we planned out the year with the protection around our summer months. And I loved it because last year we did a launch in June and there were a few things that I didn't love about it. First, I felt like launching in June felt like I was delaying the start of my summer. So in my brain, even though summer had started, my brain was thinking, okay, once this launch is over, then summer begins. And so I felt like I missed out on a few precious weeks of summer. I also felt like that launch was more stressful than others because I was juggling both of the kids being at home, this new rhythm. We're trying to figure out like, what does summer look like for us? And if I'm struggling, there's a good chance that my audience is also struggling getting into a summer rhythm. One thing that I think is important to know is that oftentimes our ideal audience has similar lifestyles to us. And so if we are struggling with our schedule, there's a good chance that our audience might also be. And so I started to recognize that and I was like, I don't want to do that again. So what did this mean? So having 0 launches in June, July, and August meant that we had a heavier stacked beginning of the year and we have a bit of a heavier stacked end of the year. Totally worth it and totally doable because of the way that we planned it. And so we went from June, July, August, September, October. We don't have any internal launches in that whole window. That's almost 5 months out of the year. So if we're not launching in these summer months, what have we been doing? Because guess what? We've still been busy, but it's been a different sort of busy. So I reserve these summer months for my favorite type of work. Really methodical, thoughtful, intentional work, and work that often happens behind the scenes where you might not be able to see the work that we're doing, but I promise you, you are going to be able to feel that work. So here are a few things that we left for this summer. And let me tell you, like I have just so enjoyed this different pace and the projects that we're working on. So we recently went through an entire rebrand, which meant new website, new brand assets, new photos. This whole process was a massive undertaking. And we started this process at the end of last year. So we knew going into this year about when it would come to fruition, which was going to land in the summer months. Crazy how long this process takes. But what has been so amazing about having a full website refresh is that it has really challenged me with this new brand identity and this new kind of evolution of who I am, a new introduction is like, what do I want to bring forward with me? And so what's been awesome is that we have been taking so much time behind the scenes to update and optimize some of our best offers. So we have been updating not only our website and our blog and our pages, we have been updating all of our top performing freebies. So our opt-ins to grow our email list. I mean, going all the way back to starting with fresh content from start to finish, fresh landing pages, thank you pages, fresh email copy, delivery copy, fresh designs. Everything feels so fresh and good right now. And what has been so fun for me is not only digging into the analytics of like, okay, which freebies are moving the needle the most and which ones should we prioritize, but also how can we make these free offers the best free offers out there on the internet so that we can get people results for free without having to pay a penny. And I love this type of work. I love getting back into the trenches, thinking through, okay, what does my audience need the most help with? How can we create something that is really filled with value? How can we guide them on the journey that gets them results? What does this look like? And so we have been going through freebie by freebie. We've already updated 4 of our top performing freebies. Our goal is to get to 10, and it's a lot of work. So again, updating the freebie content, the landing page, the thank you page, the email confirmation, the email funnel, everything that goes into it. And so there's a lot of moving parts, but I love this kind of work. And honestly, what we've been up to reminds me a lot of what we did back in 2020 when the world shut down. We decided we're going to put our heads down and we're going to go deep on what's working instead of going wide. And I think that when everyone was panicking and thinking, oh my gosh, I need to get out new offers, I need to find new ways to make money, we went back to some of the basics of like search engine optimization, lead generation, ad strategy. Like we were just kind of going back to the basics. And this honestly feels like we're doing that again. And I cannot believe that 2020 was 4 years ago. And so it's honestly like the perfect time to be going through and really updating and optimizing. I will never forget an anniversary trip that Drew and I took years ago where we drove the Pacific Coast Highway from LA to San Francisco. And I was so excited because I was in charge of booking the Airbnbs for the trip. And after looking through all of our options, I found the one. Found this farmhouse where we could rent out a room and wake up and collect our own eggs for breakfast in the morning, feed their alpacas, and play with their goats. When we arrived at this Airbnb, the hosts were there waiting for us with a chilled bottle of wine. They showed us our room and bathroom, and then they gave us a tour of their farm. Now, looking back, that trip planted a seed for us to dream about owning our own rental property and not overcomplicating the process. Since then, we've become real estate lovers and super hosts on Airbnb, and honestly, it is one of my favorite parts of my job. Now, something that people don't realize is that you don't necessarily need an investment property to do this. You can create an Airbnb revenue stream from your own home or even host a single room in your house. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host. Hiring new team members used to have me nervous, but as I've grown my team, I developed my own unique hiring strategy that has allowed me to build a collaborative, powerful work culture. And a massive part of that strategy has been LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs is perfect for finding the right professionals for your team faster and for free. It's so fast that 86% of small businesses find a qualified candidate within 24 hours. And it isn't just a job board, it's where you'll find amazing candidates you won't see anywhere else. 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not on LinkedIn, you are missing out big time. I recently hired a strategic partnership manager and LinkedIn made it seamless. Posted the job and in a matter of hours, I had solid options to choose from. Brooke stood out immediately. Her experience was a perfect match and she's been hired and an amazing addition to our team. In fact, I have hired my last 6 team members using LinkedIn. It is just that easy. Join the 2.5 million small businesses that use LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Jenna. That's linkedin.com/Jenna to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. One thing that's made this work so enjoyable, and I know that it is moving the needle, is that we started working with a measurement team about 1.5 years ago. And it was a huge process onboarding them and getting them really in our business and integrated into the work that we were doing, but also able to measure and give us the information that we needed to actually optimize our offers. And so having a measurement team means that once a week, we're getting on the phone with them and we're walking through what we're up to and how we can optimize what's already working. What's awesome is that in the past, we didn't have all these numbers to look at. And so when we were updating things, it was kind of a shot in the dark. Like we're like, well, we're just going to change this headline and see what happens. And we weren't actually measuring the outcome of that. We are in a place in our business where we now have the time and the bandwidth and the system to say, hey, does anything happen? Like if we change this headline up here, or if we move this text up, does that increase the conversion of this page? And now we are literally doing weekly calls where we're looking at the data and the analytics to really further optimize things that are already working well to make them work better. And so it's a lot of the nitty gritty stuff where the past me was like, we don't have time for this. Like, we're just going to get it up and running. And once it's running good, just let it run. And now we're like getting into this nitty gritty stuff and we're learning so much in the process. And so this work has just been so fun for me. It's been a huge undertaking, but it's just a different rhythm. I mean, there's been entire weeks on end where I'm not on camera the entire week. I'm not doing Instagram stories. I'm not recording podcasts. Like, I am just behind my computer doing what I love. And like, honestly, those are my favorite weeks of work. And so that is something that we've been working on. We've also been looking at just refining different processes and things. One of the things that has been such a blessing about having this more extended time without a launch is that we're able to dig into a lot of the things that have been on our list that just keep getting shoved down our list. So things like managing our Facebook communities. And are there ways to optimize that? Are there different things that we want to do with our Facebook communities? How are we collecting testimonials from students? What does the follow-up look like when somebody either opts in or when they sign up for a course? We've been able to really kind of peel back the curtain on different things that have been working well to make them work even better and just get really clear with different strategies and systems that we have in place in my business. And so I just feel like this is like the summer of refinement. And oh my goodness, it just feels so good. And it's been such an amazing way to work through the summer because it offers a ton of flexibility. And it also just gives us this chance to like really follow through and follow the work that we're doing to make sure that it is the best version that it can be. And let me just tell you that one of the things that my team and I love doing and that we've continued to do over the summer is just methodically working ahead. I think a lot of times people are maybe surprised to learn that we are constantly 4 to 6 weeks ahead of my business. So if at any point we had to like peace out for an entire month, our business would keep running per usual. So we work from a place of rest and not urgency, which means, and this is why I think we have such a good team culture, there is never really anything that is super urgent because we're always working into the future. And so whether it's the podcast or our email list or even our blog calendar, like we are always looking ahead and working ahead so that we can just stay at this really beautiful, peaceful pace, which is exactly what I wanted for this year. My whole year was less force, more flow, and I'm learning it in a million different ways, both in business and life. So overall, in business, what I have loved is really just kind of blocking out a solid chunk of time where we are saying, hey, we're still going to be working. It's a different rhythm and we're working on some of the different things that don't normally take precedence over the big shiny launches. And we're putting our heads down and we're just doing that work. And it has just been a really great summer. I think it's going to be a tradition that we carry on both for myself and for my team. And I have absolutely loved it. And so for you, if this is something that you're hoping for, even if you just want like a slower month, which is what I've done historically in the past, where I've said like, okay, August is our slow month or July is a slow month. I've done that for years. This is the first summer where I've been able to say, okay, June, July, and August are really protected. But if you want to have a slower pace, you want to start thinking about and planning for it now. And one of the things that was really helpful is in knowing that this was the ultimate vision for our summer, it allowed me to say no with confidence to so many opportunities and invitations. Because while we're taking a slow summer, a lot of people are not. And we got invited to do so many different, launches and online summits and speaking things and all these things. And knowing that this was the vision for the summer, it allowed me to really kindly say no thank you to different opportunities and offers in protection of our summer. And I have been able to fiercely protect the summer and it's just been the best. Okay, so what has all of this meant for my life? We've talked about business. I love what it's meant for our business, but let's talk about life. So let me be honest in saying that it was a challenge shifting from our regular rhythm during the school year into our summer rhythm this year. And it was just a whole different thing. I really love the rhythm that we have when Coco is in school and what that looks like. A few things I love about it. One, we're waking up at 7 every day and they are out of the house by 8 o'clock. So Drew will drive Coco to school every single day and he'll take Quinn in the car with him. And so right around 8 o'clock is when I can kind of start my day, kind of do a quick reset and then dive into work. Summertime, oh my gosh, we have been sleeping till 8 a.m. I am not complaining here because there was so many years in my life where I never thought I would sleep until 8 a.m. again. My children are running around outside all day. They are so tired by the end of the night. They sleep so well. Drew and I look at each other like, wait, is this like life now? My Oura Ring sleep scores have never looked better because we are getting so much amazing quality sleep. But settling into the rhythm of like, okay, I'm diving into work at 9 and oh my gosh, now I'm already feeling behind because I've got Slack messages and, kids are constantly finding me in the house. I literally will like move around the house to try to hide just to like get focused work done. My Zoom calls can be chaotic. The kids are running around. There's different appointments during the day, just different things. It was a bit of a struggle and a challenge to like sink into summer and to figure out like, what is our rhythm and how is this going to work? And one of the things that I realized is that I don't think that Coco understood that while she is in school, I am working. And so when she is home all day, every day for summer, every single day, she's like, Mom, do you have to work today? And if I say yes, she's like, oh, Mom. And it's crazy because I'm working a 4-day work week and I'm working very manageable hours within that 4-day work week. But like my kids aren't used to that. They're not used to seeing me work in this way. So just a lot of adjustments all around. But we finally found our groove. And I'm just grateful that I wasn't gunning for like a huge launch in June and trying to juggle this transition into a new rhythm. I think it would have been very chaotic. I think it would have been stressful. I don't think I would have been the best mom. And I don't think I would have had the best launch. So I'm grateful for the past version of me for protecting June. In terms of life, I can say that I have never had such a beautiful season of my life as an adult. I think there's so many different factors here that I want to acknowledge. One, I think, I am 13 years into entrepreneurship, and this type of pace and these type of decisions weren't even a possibility for a lot of those years, right? Like I recognize and acknowledge that so much hustle led me to this point today. But I think when I look at the last 7 years, when we went through our miscarriages and our losses and then into motherhood, I have been working so hard to get to a place where I have the privilege of saying, I want to slow down. And so that was a factor. Another factor, my kids are getting a little bit older. It is crazy. We love this stage of parenthood. If I could be the PR rep for having a 5.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, let me put out the press release. This is my favorite stage yet. And something tells me like it's going to just keep getting better and better. But oh my gosh, this season of motherhood is just so different. The other night we went out to dinner and like, we don't have to pack a huge diaper bag and we don't have to think about snacks and sippy cups and all these different things. Like it was like this beautiful dinner and there was a little bit of chaos, of course. I ordered this faux margarita and it came with an umbrella. And of course we had to ask our waitress, is there any way you could get a second umbrella? Because my kids both wanted an umbrella. Like there's still that. But like we got to go to the beach this weekend. And like, I just am recognizing like there's more fluidity in parenthood. Yesterday, the kids like disappeared for an hour. They were playing together. And I was like, wait, what? We don't have to entertain them? Or like, we don't have to have our eyes on them to make sure they stay alive. Like, I just love the stage of parenthood. So that's another factor. I think that we have created such beautiful systems and rhythms in my business, both with launches, but also with evergreen, meaning on autopilot in my company, which has allowed us to make this decision of really kind of delaying a launch and figuring out different timing. We also have a different team in place. So I have an amazing person, Michelle, on my team who helps manage our course launches. We didn't have that role like a year ago. So having somebody who is literally owning these launches and working on them while we are in this slower rhythm. So there are a lot of factors here that I just want to say, but as an adult, I feel like I've been able to come fully alive in so many ways this summer. And I keep saying like, I'm on this joy journey. And last fall, right around when we were planning our year, I went through this personal experience where I was just like, I want time to like have hobbies and I want time to figure out what brings me joy besides work and motherhood, right? I've been in the trenches of that for 7 years when I look at our journey of becoming parents and then being parents. And I wanted to find like, who is Jenna outside of work and motherhood? And I've done a whole episode on that topic. And I feel like this summer has been like my joy summer. I planted a garden and I have loved every bit of it. It's right out my window right here. I can literally see it. And I was someone in the past who I would have never wanted a garden. I would have never, just go to the store and buy what you want. Oh, the joy in gardening. What? It has been so life-giving and fun. Every morning we wake up and run out to the garden in our PJs to see what has changed. The kids are just enjoying it. They're so excited by it. I have really, really, really loved gardening. We also became beekeepers. This was something we've talked about for a year. Drew is kind of the owner of this project, but I love the bees. It was so cute. We were walking out to the garden yesterday and Quinny, who was 2.5, yelled over, "Good job, bees. Thanks for all the work you're doing." Because every time we go out to the garden, we talk to the bees because they're right there. And we love our bees. Oh, they are just so amazing. And so we're learning beekeeping. And I got into sourdough bread this spring. And so I'm baking every week with my kids. Coco can list off, we need starter flour, water, and salt to make our sourdough. And just a lot of these wholesome things. Is your LinkedIn profile gathering dust? If so, you are wasting a huge opportunity. LinkedIn is where you need to be if you're selling to other businesses and you're serious about driving real results. Imagine you're hosting the ultimate business mixer and LinkedIn is your VIP guest list. I'm talking about over 1 billion members, including 180 million senior level executives and 10 million C-level big shots. These are the people who can make things happen. On other platforms, it can feel like you're shouting into the void, but with LinkedIn ads, you're having meaningful conversations and building relationships with decision makers who are actually interested in what you have to offer. This is a place where people actually expect and appreciate professional outreach. LinkedIn generates 2 to 5 times higher return on ad spend compared to other social platforms. And this is why 79% of B2B content marketers say LinkedIn is their top choice for paid media. Make B2B marketing everything it can be and get a $100 credit on your next campaign. Head to linkedin.com/goal to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/goal. Terms and conditions apply. I joined the local rowing team and it was such a whim. I think people were really like, what? It's so out of the blue. But so let me just give a little background here. So last year we were driving on Park Point, which if you have ever been to Duluth, Park Point is this beautiful point on Lake Superior, sandy beaches. It's pretty much the only sandy beaches that we have around us. You go over the aerial lift bridge. It's wonderful. We were driving down to the beach with our kids and I looked out my window and there was this huge boathouse that said Duluth Rowing Club. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. I didn't even know Duluth had a rowing club. What is it? So I went to their website and signed up for their email list and I totally forgot about it. And this spring I get an email saying, if you want to join the Duluth Rowing Club, you have to take this Learn to Row class. These are the dates. You have to commit to it. And I was like, I told you, I was like, I don't know why I want to do this, but I really want to do this. I think it sounds really fun. I think it'd be great to be in a team sport. If you've ever read either Lessons in Chemistry or Boys on the Boat, both amazing books, highly recommend. They both have rowing in them. I've read both of them for book club over the last few years. And I have been wanting to foster the athlete in me, but running races just hasn't felt good for me. And I just was like, I want to try something different. And so I signed up for the Learn to Row class. I was in a class with, I think there was 12 of us, super eclectic group of people I would have never probably crossed paths with had I not joined this class. We became this little funny family, all learning how to row together. And for 2 weeks, we had these nightly practices. So it was 5:30 to 7:30, 4 days a week for 2 weeks. It was a very tricky time because it was when the kids usually go to bed. So they were like, oh, Mom, you're going rowing again. But we finished Learn to Row class. I loved it. I love being out on the water. I love being challenged. Rowing is super technical. And so I felt like an athlete again. I loved being around other people. I love being a part of a team. I don't know. I just felt like a student in so many ways. And it was amazing. I recently did a rowing regatta, which is a race. It was awesome. We got dead last. I was in a boat with 8 other women. I think I was towards the youngest, all the way up to age 70. We had one practice before we raced in the regatta. We were going against teams who probably practiced 1 million times together. We had so much fun. My kids got to see me row. They got to see me get last. They got to see me have fun. I've learned with rowing, like you learn in doing, not by watching. Like I could watch a million videos on TV of how to row, but until you get out in the boat and grab the oar, you're not going to know how to do it. And so I've just had so much fun with it. And I've gotten up at 5 a.m., watched the sunrise over Lake Superior and gotten out in boats with all different types of people of all different walks of life. I just love it. I love it. So it has just been such a beautiful time of like passion for me. And I think having been an entrepreneur for so long and loving what I do, I love my work. I am more excited about life than work right now. And that is such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling. It's a feeling I haven't felt as an adult. I feel like a kid again. There's so many other things I want to do. I want to take piano lessons again. I want to learn how to cross stitch. Like there's so many things I want to learn. Anyways, Drew joined a bocce ball league with my grandpa, my dad, my brother, my brother-in-law, my uncle. And he does that every Monday nights. And OMG, like the amount of joy he gets from that. Like he is so excited to do bocce ball league, to get out there. And how cool, like multi-generational, again, like just being with other people in a community. And like, I don't know, they go every week and then they go out and get burgers and a beer. And it is his favorite night of the week. And it's just been really fun because it's given us this different rhythm where like Monday nights, I get time with the girls, I do bedtime. Wednesday nights, maybe I go out rowing and Drew spends time with the girls. It has just been so much fun and it has felt like a quintessential summer. We've had time at the pool with friends. We went to the beach with friends. Like we have just had like so much flexibility and freedom because work hasn't been intense. And I'm just like so grateful for that. And we have just enjoyed it. So this is kind of a life update and a work update. We also just got back from a week-long trip to Greece. I can't even sum it up. We got to be with friends on a boat in Greece. It was the longest time I've ever been away from my kids. And thank goodness to my parents who were so gracious and took them. My mom does this thing called cousin camp every summer where she takes all the older grandkids and she does this little camp. I think it's their third year and they do all sorts of activities and things. They got t-shirts this year. And one of the things that was so cool is when I went to Greece, I gave my entire team the week off as well. And I just wanted to really protect that time, not only for me, but for them too. And to say like, hey, here's a pre-scheduled like whole week off you get. We took a long weekend off for the 4th of July. Like we just had so much time. And I've just felt as a leader, not only has it encouraged me to find the joy outside of work, but I think it's encouraged my team in that way. And I will argue that we are better at work because of it, because we are more joyful in life. And so this summer has been a summer of prioritizing health and sleep and reading and weightlifting and cooking more and gardening and all of these things that I honestly did not have on my bingo card for this year, but have brought me so much joy and presence and excitement. Like I've loved being a beginner in so many ways. It feels just like a starting line that I am just inching my way across. And I just can't wait to see what the future holds. And I've loved so much integrating my kids into these new hobbies and having them be a part of it. Like I feel like this is such a critical time as a parent to kind of form their beliefs and to have them see different things and be exposed to different things. And oh my gosh, we have just been having so much fun doing it. So there you have it. That is my update of what this summer slowdown has looked like. Again, I acknowledge so much work went into it, so much planning went into it. And I recognize that is not possible for everyone, but maybe, just maybe, looking ahead, you could claim out a week or a month or a season for you and the business that you want to build. My mission is to help you build these businesses that fuel the lives that you love. And I see that it's possible and I want to paint that possibility for you. So maybe this is your sign to consider slowing down, or maybe you're in a season of growth and now is not the time. Whether you slow down this summer or wait for a different season in your life or business, I hope this episode not only just gave you a peek behind the curtain of what I've been up to, what my team has been up to, but I also hope it inspires you to look for opportunities to take a step back and to slow down from work and step into life. I know that over the years, there have been so many different seasons where I have had to, or I've chosen to prioritize the work and the grind and the hustle that comes with it. And although I can acknowledge that is a large reason why I have the business that I do today, that constant pressure to work all the time is not sustainable. And I have recognized that and been taught that over and over and over again. And so maybe today is the day that I invite you to look at your calendar for the week and maybe see where you can schedule in just some time for play, some time for joy, whether it's doing a paint by number or scrapbooking or baking bread or planting some plants. I hope you lose track of time doing something you absolutely love. And maybe, just maybe in the process, you'll discover that your self-worth doesn't only lie in your productivity, it comes with your joy. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Goal Digger Podcast. Until next time, keep on digging your biggest goals, and I hope you go on your own joy journey. Thanks for pulling up a seat for another episode of the Goal Digger Podcast. I hope today's episode fueled you with inspiration, gave you information that you can turn into action, and realigned you with your true north in life and business. If you've enjoyed today's episode, head on over to goaldiggerpodcast.com for today's show notes, discount codes for our sponsors, freebies to fuel your results, and so much more. And if you haven't yet, make sure you're subscribed so that you never miss a future show. We'll see you next time, Goal Diggers.